This is going to be an expanded track 2, and going into SolidWorks 2020, we're going to start with the base install and build out from there. There may be some things that came over from the previous installation that we'll have to deal with, but we'll identify those as we go. So when you first launch and you get this welcome screen, this is not one of the things that I use. This came probably about 2 years ago, 2017, 2018, and I just haven't adopted it. If you like to use it, prefer to use it, go ahead. It's with all of these videos that you will expand and evolve as you work through the process, and at some point there's going to be a jumping off point where you will look at the model and say, oh, I can do that easier than watching the video. So, and then my reply will be, go ahead, take your best shot at it and get it complete. And then if you go back and watch the video, or even fast forward through the video, there may be some tips and tricks and different way of seeing things that will add to your learning. So I say say it early and often, there is no right and wrong so much as the validity of your models. At the end of the day, if you can do it, do the entire part in one sketch and one feature, great. It may be a really complicated sketch and a really complicated feature, but if it gets you there, it may be easier to divide it up into segments and have multiple features, multiple sketches to work from. So, and then there's a crossover where we share sketches, and we'll try to identify those strategies. So for this first safety key, I'm thinking I'll probably do this in 3 different ways, just to kind of introduce those strategies and get you started. So the welcome screen comes up, and when it first launches, there's a box in the bottom left that says do not show again. Next time I see that, I will probably do not show again. But you can get back to it by coming up to the little welcome to SolidWorks, and whenever you see the parentheses, and I can't quite get to it, when you see the parentheses Control plus F2, that is your shortcut key. So you'll be able to hit that and on the keyboard, and then this will come back up if you need it. So going into a new part, I believe my templates came over, so yeah, so I don't have the originals, so I'm going to go back to the part, because I always preserve that when I'm making templates, and we go through the process. We'll add additional folders so that we can have 2020 templates. So this may be a range of everything from this one's pointing to 2017, so I would say some of these templates go back as far as maybe 2012, 2010, somewhere in there, as they were built up, modified, and now have legacy information included in them. So the part, the drawing, and the assembly without any extension is what you should see. So I kind of name what I'm doing and the additional templates that I create, and each one has kind of a specialty purpose as we go along. So I'm going to pull up the default part so we can take a look. And if we're working in this, some of the things that I have on my screen, I have my filters turned on, so this is F5 across the bottom. If I hit F5 on the keyboard again, then that should go away. Alright, so kind of like to have those up if I have the screen space. If I don't need the real estate, then I'll leave these on. If it gets a little bit tight in the work area, then that would be one of the things I'll turn off. But this is a quick, if you accidentally hit something and all of a sudden you're only able to select edges or faces and it's filtering, you may not realize it. And having this up is a quick glance down to the bottom and see what's going on. The camera and image capture, those are kind of handy to have if we're grabbing those screenshots. So across the top, is the features, the sketch. We'll be working in the sketch. For 2020, weldments became the structure system. I'm not going to be doing that for a while, so that would be one thing that I can clean up. And on the tabs, this has changed a little bit. We have the toolbars and all the customization available. And the one comment I would make is do not uncheck all of these. Leave at least one checked as you're going through the process. We will occasionally use direct editing. Markup, haven't had a chance to do much with it in 2020. Our evaluate is where we're going to pick up the measure and let's see, where's the mask property? So it's grayed out because I don't have anything. And then model-based definition dimensions, and then all of the add-ins if we need those. But most of the time I'm going to just come up, because this is maybe not all of the add-ins. If I come up to the little gear and go down to add-ins, we're going to see quite a few more, at least all of the expanded and the cam type stuff. So if I can open up that little bit of work area, then I'll go ahead and that'll bring the heads-up display. So my monitor is 1920 by 1080, but the optimum for the video uploads are 720 or 1280 by 720. So I've reduced my screen size so that I can fly things in and fly things out and still have a pretty good view on the video. So depending on which computer I'm on when I'm making the video, sometimes these get a little bit smaller. Seems like they get a little bit bigger as we go. Alright, so just to run through the major components, across the top is the Command Manager. If we right click, enable Command Manager. If you turn that off, then it will go back to toolbars. For the videos, I like the large buttons with text, but if I'm doing a lot of assembly design work, most of the time I'll turn those off and just rely on the tooltip. So a tooltip will come up whenever you hover over a part, and they've actually expanded a little bit. I'm seeing more, that's a lot more instruction or explanation than has been previous. So across the top is the heads-up display. We already talked a little bit about the tabs. So the heads-up display, these are going to be shortcuts, and I add and take away things. So you'll probably see maybe these 5 or 6 in the middle, and you can rearrange those as needed. We'll do that when we customize a little bit later on. Tiling and tiling left and tiling right for open models. Minimize to the tab, and then restore to size, and then close the part, in this case close the document. Same thing as the windows, minimize, and since I have dual monitors, it's going to show me the span displays, maximize, minimize, and close the program. Alright, so coming around, we have the task manager, or task pane, excuse me, and the home will have certain quick to get to tools. If you have the forums turned on, forums are one of those personal preference items, since it connects and is giving you the RSS feeds that things that are going on in the forums. It's kind of handy, but it's also taking up bandwidth and internet to make that work. Design libraries, where we're going to save the common components. File Explorer, items that are open or were open recently, so being able, another method of interacting with your computer. View palette is only going to work in the drawing document. Appearances, scenes, decals, one of the places that we can get to the various backgrounds and applying colors and textures to our parts. And then custom properties. I've added a custom property. You will probably see a button that says to click on. So we'll go back through all of these as we work into it and get a little further. So most time everybody wants to start in with the drawings. So that will give you the quick overview. Coming around the bottom, I guess I should finish this out. Around the bottom is the status bar. We're going to see things like locations. Right now it's telling me my graphics card is out of date, so I'll have to look into that. The little arrow at the bottom, inch, pounds, and seconds, and pretty much a quick shortcut to change to millimeters or go right into the edit document units under the options. Current version of the software, our feature tree, and then across the top standard pull downs. If you don't see that, then you will see the arrow, and as you hover over that arrow it's going to toggle. I like to have the push pin, even though it's kind of compressing the rest of the shortcut tools, the standard toolbar across the top. I still like to have that available. If I can't find it in one of the command manager, we can always come over to the search, and if I type in the first few letters, that will give me quick access to, so I was looking for line. If I was looking for anything that contained the line, that would pull it up. And if I was going to utilize it more than once, I could left click, drag it into the command manager, and it would add it to that group. So got a few modifications going on. There will be some things that are different in from your version to this version. Don't get too hung up on it. They are there somewhere, usually within a click or two. And like I said, if you come up and type in the first few letters, it will take you right to it. Alright, so when we come to the next video, we will start drawing.